This barrack block was built between 1718 and 1720 for housing the castle garrison. Their job was to guard the powder and ammunition stored in the castle. Before this, the men and their families worked, ate and lived in the magazine room in the castle itself. This building is a rare and remarkably intact example of the first generation of British Army barracks. Since completion in 1720, the room plan has remained unaltered with the exception of one internal doorway added in the 19th century. So we're in the barracks rooms at the moment of Upnor Castle. This is a separate bit to the castle. And what I'll probably do is, because there's quite a lot to film here, obviously a lot of information, I'm going to take a lot of photos of the signs and you can pause them and read them at your own leisure, yeah? So, yeah, chat to you soon. Hope you enjoyed a bit about the barracks. As I say, I'm just going to take photos of the information boards, not do too many voiceovers. I want it to be a relaxing day. In the 16th century, Chatham, in the tidal waters of the River Medway, was one of the main anchorages of the Royal Fleet. Upnor Castle was designed to protect it. The castle was started in 1559 as a simple accommodation block and gun platform or bastion. A second phase of building 40 years later added a gatehouse and a courtyard wall to protect the gunners from the rear. The design of the castle is unusual, especially the bastion, which reflects the experimental nature of military design and building at that time. Technological advance and the need to set up defences further downstream after a disastrous raid by the Dutch in 1667 meant that Upnor Castle's use as a fortification was greatly reduced. It has changed into a huge gunpowder magazine and soon became the largest in the country. The castle remained in use as an armaments depot and testing ground well into the 20th century. Right, we're climbing the stairs up to the gatehouse and the clock. Candice is shot up here like a ferret. She's absolutely loving this. Oh, blimey. Forget that. It's alright standing on that. Wow. As it's Easter, happy Easter everyone. There was a fire in the gatehouse, so you can see some of the stones might have burn marks and stuff, so probably like there and there. Oh, this is the clock. Just pause this if you want to read any of it. That's all in French. Oh, what's in here? Oh, there's a little room in here. Tiny little fireplace. So this is the gatehouse from circa 1750. Built between 1599 and 1601. I'll let you read the rest if you want to pause it. This is a fragment of wall painting. Hopefully you might be able to make it out from the glare. So it was found under some layers of whitewash in April 1949 when Upnor Castle was being repaired. Yeah, it's pretty cool. The top of the tower with the bell. So this is what you can see when you're walking on the other side. I think it's alright, honestly, it's pretty safe. Wow, look at that. And then you see all of this, the front of the castle, overlooking the River Medway. So yeah, I think the Dutch would have sailed right past here as well. In the 1667, burning ships, they destroyed the English flagship. It was a massive like humiliation for like the British Navy and that, and bloody Dutch. We did beat them at the football the other day though, not convincingly though. And further along the river there, past St Mary's Island, is Cockhamwood Fort, and that's where we're going to try and wild camp tonight. But that's another video. But what a view, apart from the building works, but you know, stuff's got to be built. Okay, back on the ground floor. So we'll go and have a look at the magazine, even the North Tower and the South Tower. Wow. Let's go and have a look at the South Tower. South Tower. Answers on a postcard what that is. The toilet. Excuse me for a second, I've got to pinch a loaf. Heading up the steps of the South Tower. There's a rope to hang on to, you know. Old wooden steps. So it had glass windows with these big metal shutters on as well. They look pretty bomb-proof, don't they? This area is just riddled with history, like naval history, military history. It's amazing. It's one of my favourite areas of like Kent and the South East. Okay, let's go and have a look at the North Tower now of the castle. These lovely old wooden doors. It's good how they preserve all this stuff. English heritage is a good thing. I want to become a member of them again actually. Gun platforms. The two towers either side of the main building have been greatly altered since they were built as part of the expansion of the castle in 1599. Whenever I see those helmets, it reminds me of Monty Python, the Holy Grail, with the French on top of the castle, and they won't let them in. you read that and pause it. What's in here? Is that the toilet again?
Well, I think it was, but they must have taken it away. Yeah.
What's that?
Don't know. Might have been the toilet, but
Could
they've
be a
taken it
toilet. Shall I leave you alone for a couple of minutes, or?
We'll take a piece.
Take it, lovely. Keeping up that on camera, people. Mouth like a docker. And yeah, right, let's go up to the North Tower. Bless her. Oh, old wooden steps again. Gonna get a photo of you in there.
Number 3.
I wonder if that's an original stamp. Don't know. This is the magazine. Wow. A lot to see in here. I was just going to say that.
I want one.
Oh.
I want one for Christmas.
A cannon. I'll see about it. Wow.
It's interesting because when you think of people like trying to so it says we'll put that in the there are 6 people on the
Come outside now, the castle at the Bastion. Upnor Castle is one of a number of buildings which protected the fleet anchorages and royal dockyards on the River Medway. The castle is situated in the final narrow stretch of the River Medway before it widens out into a true estuary of mudbanks, islands and creeks. In the 16th century, the 2 miles upstream to Rochester Bridge saw growing numbers of naval vessels laid up without sails or rigging. By 1667, the anchorage had spread down the estuary, far out of range of the safety of Upnor's guns. After the disastrous Dutch raid, new fortifications were created at Cockhamwood, Gillingham and Sheerness. Land fortifications, such as the Great Lines, were built from the 1750s to protect the dockyard from land attack, and more forts were built at Hoot and Darnet in the early 19th century. Let's go and have a look at the tunnel now. This sounds promising.
Yeah.
Ah, this is cool. Look
You
at
put all
this.
you need, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. This is pretty cool. Sorry if it's auto-focusing. Oh, where does it lead out to? This is the oldest part of the castle and was once where the gunners lived and worked. When the building was changed to a gunpowder store, all the inside walls in this building were removed to make space for gunpowder, and it is now very hard to picture the original layout. The building would have been only one storey, with two gun platforms above served by a central stair. This room would have been split into living quarters for the castle gunners at the back and a firing platform facing the river at the front. The number of men on site varied greatly. Running a garrison was costly, and the castle was no doubt only lightly manned until times of international hostility focused attention on coastal defence. In the late 16th century, for instance, there were 80 soldiers living here. Each one was paid 8 shillings per day. In 1668, Upnor Castle was changed into a store for guns and gunpowder. The powder was shipped in from a number of mills contracted to the government. It was held under safe conditions at Upnor until needed. The castle went through major changes. This building was heightened to provide extra storage, and the woodblock floor, copper-sheathed shutters and lead-covered stair rail were built to reduce the risk of sparks causing a fire. A jetty pierced the water bastion below, and the whole platform was roofed to keep the powder dry as it was taken in and out of the store. In 1750, a windlass was added to the lifting tackle in the ceiling. Before this, men had used their own body weight to raise the barrels from the water bastion by jumping from the first floor of the magazine. I think we've explored the whole of the castle. So, oh, there's a viewpoint over here. Apologies, this one has kind of not been, too many voiceovers and that, but I just wanted a bit more of a relaxing kind of day looking at a castle and stuff. So hopefully, as I say, you can read sort of the information boards that I've filmed and photographed. There is a lot of information, so yeah, might want to get yourself a big iced tea, sit down, read through all of that. But I think that's about it for this video really, so I'm going to leave you with a lovely view of the River Medway, where we're going to be heading later on. It's a fantastic castle, this, an important part of our rich history. So yeah, we're going to check out the gift shop, head to the pub. So yeah, thank you for watching this one, hope you've enjoyed it, and you'll see us again very soon. See you later, cheers, bye bye.